Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out. And I don't know about you, but I've got lots of practice that I've got to do. Not it's not even stuff that's done, right? Ever had one of those days where you just feel like you're getting sucker punched one time after another? Yeah, that was yesterday, but that's okay. I woke up this morning and realized that not one thing in this word changed because I got punched in the proverbial face, so to speak, because I didn't get punched in the physical face, right? Not one thing in this word has changed, and that's one thing that's why I love the word. And as a matter of fact, I can actually go into just a moment of gratitude, knowing that when things come up and we get pressed in that crucible of life, that I'm going to learn something new because this word doesn't change. But when I open it and I see something, I've had new experiences, I see new things in this word. I'm so excited. So I can't wait to share whatever it is I'm going to be learning in this little situation I'm in, right? So anyway, Does for our Ministries newsletter went out this morning. If you didn't get it, you're going to have to go sign up. It's got all the details. I'm not going to tell you nothing that's going on yet. So if you want to know, you're going to have to sign up for the newsletter. And but I do have some things in the works right now that I am working on setting up and getting organized. So some classes and things, and I'm excited about what we're doing. So there's going to be lots. Keep your eye out for some announcements. There will be some announcements and stuff, but we are working on printing 600 copies of the leadership book right now for a ministers or leadership conference coming up in May. So, and very close to getting the funds for that. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's see. We've been talking about the temptation of Jesus the last 3 days, or this will be the third day, right? So we talked about the first day that the enemy came and tempted him with something natural. If I know you're hungry, Jesus, because you've been in the wilderness 40 years and I ain't seen you eat nothing. So turn these stones into bread. Then you'll be all right. He just attacked kind of the natural. Then yesterday we talked about the next few verses. He attacked his identity. If you're really the Son of God, then do this. If you're really right, and Jesus said, "It is written." And of course, we know that yesterday we found out that the devil knows scripture too, right? And he tries to use it against us. When he asked Eve, did God really say, you know what God had said? He was just trying to trip her up. He just wanted to bring confusion. That is one of his favorite weapons, is confusion. If he can confuse us on what this Bible says or what God told us, or make things look like it's not lining up like God told us, and we get confused, we get ourselves in a bind, right? And he loves that. He loves that. So the best way to not be confused is to know what it says. So today we're looking at the third part. It's in verse 8, and the devil comes back, and this time he took him up to a high mountain, it says, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. It'd be kind of like a vision, not like physically, right? Anyway, he took him up, showed him the kingdoms of the world, all the glory, and he said to him, all these things I will give you. Now, they were not his to give. Understand that, right? All these things I will give you if you fall down and worship me. And when he said worship me, Jesus said, I didn't hear anything else you said, right? Okay, that's not King James or anything. He said, then Jesus said to him, go away. Go away, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve, which is what got us on this. Is where did he say that? Well, we started in Deuteronomy 6 yesterday, or the day before, and it's right here in Deuteronomy 6 where we've been this week, right? It says only in verse 13 of chapter 6 of Deuteronomy, it says, you shall fear the Lord your God, or worship the Lord your God, and serve him, and shall make oaths in only his name. You shall not go after other gods of the people around you, for the Lord your God is jealous among you. And so he's saying, don't only worship God. That's the only thing we should worship. That's the only thing we should cherish that much, right? And so when it got to the worship part, Jesus went, I don't hear anything you say, because I can only worship my Father. No, nothing else is deserving of worship. There's not one thing in our lives that deserves all our worship except God. And so as I was thinking about that, I thought, you know what? When God gave them the 10 commandments, gave it to Moses on the mountain there in Exodus 20, the very first one was, first he started with, I am the Lord your God. That wasn't a commandment. It was just a statement. Right? I am the great I am. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. Don't put anything before me. That was the absolute first commandment that he made them in that moment, right? And then he said, don't even make yourself an image. And we're going to turn around here in a minute and see that they're going to do it just in the next couple of chapters. I don't get it, but they did exactly what when they got distracted. That's the second, a real close second. Confusion. He loves confusion, and then he loves just to distract us. So he can distract us from what God said, or make us go, I don't know what God even said, right? Then he can get us. That's why we want to build this arsenal, which is something I started working on yesterday, a kind of a list of scriptures that we need in our arsenal. So that, because if we notice here, that's what Jesus used to defend his soul, right? And besides that, when the enemy said, I'll give you all these things, Jesus didn't even hear it after that, because he already knew he was lying, because he didn't have all those things. It wasn't his to give. Adam and Eve were given the kingdoms of this world, and they gave the reins over to the enemy in the garden and got kicked out of the garden. But the enemy doesn't own all of that. It's not his, right? He can't give it. He's just running around in it like a little 3-year-old brat, breaking everything, trying to tear up everything. And there's going to come a day where Jesus goes, enough. That's enough. I'm going to get my kids, and we're going to stop all this. You're going to stop acting like that. And he's going to throw him into hell and the lake of fire and all that. And I don't even know that stuff in the Revelation, right? And so it's like, he doesn't even own it. So Jesus didn't have to listen to him. He didn't even address that. He didn't even say, that ain't yours. He didn't do that. He just said, go away. I can't worship anything but my Father. The scripture says you shall worship only the Lord your God. Him only shall you serve. Jesus knew he was here for a purpose, and he knew he was here for specific reasons, and that was not part of it. And so he says, go away. And it says, then the devil left him, and the angels came and ministered to him. But the whole thing was that Jesus knew, he fought with the word. He had an arsenal. Well, he was the word. So the word was using words to fight the words of the devil. And they became a shield for him, because he knew what this Bible said. And if we go back to Eve, I go back to her a lot. If she had just stopped and said, let me go ask, because she let the devil get in her head. Don't let the devil your devil is not, your head, your brain is not the devil's playground. Don't let him play around in your brain. If you get this question that's way off from where, go back to the answer, which is here. Go back and say, well, what did God say? Don't converse with the enemy. Don't entertain those thoughts. Stop them and go, wait a minute. Jesus said, I have peace. My peace I leave with you. So this does not feel like peace. So I know this is not from God. I can have peace in every situation, no matter how crazy it is, no matter how stressful it is, no matter how massive it feels. It doesn't override Jesus's peace, the peace that he gave us. We just have to figure out how to get our heads around what God said and get back to that place of peace again, and not let the enemy confuse us about what God says. That's what he loves to confuse us about. We talked about Nehemiah last week. I'm going to teach in Nehemiah this afternoon in Pakistan too. And we one of the things it said, they came to them to confuse them. If they could get them confused about what they were trying to do for God, or what God had said about that, or about about the work, or that it said they tried to confuse them. The enemy loves to confuse us. Nehemiah did not get confused. As a matter of fact, every time an attack came, it says they prayed. Just go back to God with it. Had Eve gone back to Adam or God, either one, and said, what did he say? I want to be real clear. It would have prevented the fall, right? Now, the good news is that God was not surprised by the fall, and he made a way for us to get back to him before that ever happened. And Jesus is here on earth walking that out when this temptation happened. He was putting it all back together again, making time match what had already happened in eternity, right? Because it's a spiritual representation. This was a natural representation of what had already happened in the spirit world. I know that's out there, right? It's okay. I can be weird, but I won't be confused. I'll tell you that. Right? Anyway, so get your arsenal together. What did God say about you? What did he say about how you should live? What kind of instructions has he given us in this word? What kinds of promises has he given us in this word? Those are what holds us together and keeps us from being distracted by the enemy's crazy, crazy plots to distract us, to confuse us, to get us to give up and things like that. Don't be exasperated, right? Get in the Word and know what He promised you. And you can keep an eye out for some classes. We're going to be talking about that. We'll do them on YouTube, though, not here, right? This is just supposed to be a peace out devotional. Peace out. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.